This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is the board, meeting of the Town of Swanton Selectboard is being conducted electronically in order to ensure safety of all attendees and maintain compliance with the Governor Scott's orders per H.681 signed into law on March 30th, 2020, Section 6. There is a temporary suspension of designated physical meeting locations and requirements of Vermont Open Meeting Law, VSA Section 312A1. In order to ensure all attendees can hear clearly, your audio may be muted. When you wish to speak, you can raise your hand using your participation panel or by submitting a chat request. If you call in by pressing star, or do we have call in?
We do have a call in.
We do have a call, okay. If you call in by pressing star 9, once acknowledged by the chair, please clearly state your name and then proceed to plead with your question or comment. Please remember that when unmuted, all participants can hear any sounds in your environment. Again, this meeting is being recorded.
Good job.
I'll do my best. All right, good evening, folks. Going to call the meeting to order here at 1 Academy Street at Swanton Town Hall on Tuesday, April 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. First order on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. I have make sure we got personnel on executive review. Okay. Highway. I want to add B under highway paving. And we now also want to add truck repairs C. All right. And
You want to,
I was just going to say the new hire. You want to put that as E? Well, that's a lot tonight. I'm putting in that. E would be new employee.
I have that as D.
D.
D? Oh, yep, you're wrong. I'm right. I'm wrong, you're right. Yeah. All right, I think that's all I have for changes. Anything you want to add, Mark?
No additions?
No. Earl, anything? No. Nicole? Ed?
No.
David?
Yep.
Elizabeth or Kathy? Anything? They're all good. Super. Let's roll. Here, a motion. What's that?
David, without the appointment, we're gonna add,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What's that, you know?
It's the appointment of the fire
or fire warden.
Fire warden,
for
okay.
5 years. His term is terminating in June, and the state wants
Okay.
to have that
Where do you want to add it?
under the, at the end there. Other necessary-
Correspondence or?
No, other necessary business.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. This is a fire warden or something.
Yeah, I put the letter on your desk.
Okay.
Signature pages over here.
I see that there, okay. You girls all set?
Yes.
I'll hear a motion to approve the minutes from April 6th meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from April 6th meeting.
All right.
I'll second
All right, any other discussion on them? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody got a comment to make that's not on the agenda? See anything? You see anything? No? Okay, we're good. Law enforcement, animal patrol report, page 4. Jim couldn't come tonight, so.
Kathy, can you get your scanner?
Excuse me?
Your scanner.
Oh, that's what it,
Is that it or is it on there?
no.
Oh, I guess it is out
Or
there.
some-
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, where are we here? We don't have Jim to ask any questions, but we can certainly have David ask him if we have any. Looks like like you had a busy month.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you got little both months here.
There seems to be a problem with one individual.
I see that. Yep, dog got large more than once. We'll have to have a discussion about that.
Yeah.
Has the animal control officer talked to anybody about that?
Have you heard anything from him, David, about the multiple times he's picked up running loose dogs from the same person?
No.
Because it looks like 318, 331. Is there another one I'm missing? Two?
For,
I see 3 for that address. Looks like they had the ticket the first time.
Well, we got a ticket for $100.
2 more times after.
Did they pay it?
It goes through the state, the ticket, right? They have to pay it to the state, so we won't know until it comes back. Yeah,
When is it due? Is there a due time period?
I don't
It
know.
goes through the police department.
Yeah,
So, whatever time it takes for them to, they would include it with their other ones that they send down.
yeah.
I'll check with you.
I've never had a follow up on one, but maybe
Yeah.
David can follow up and see if they pay it.
Yeah, I'll check with Joey and the
Yeah.
timing on that.
Can you, I would say probably, can you relate it, Jim, that if he has any more issues to this address and his dog's getting loose, to let us know on the board? Because
Sure.
we definitely need to take some kind of action. That's a little ridiculous. So. Anything else under animal control?
Okay, so he had a busy month, good documentation.
Yep.
great
No.
documentation.
Yeah, very good. Yep. Good. All right. Newtown business does discuss illegal use of the Moyle Valley Rail Trail by ATVs. They got email about, someone complaining about ATVs on the new section of the rail trail that goes through Rock Cut up through Type I don't know what we can do. I know we sent an email to Joey. I did see something back from me, look into it. I know we don't have a whole lot of that trail that Swanton owns. I mean, unfortunately, I think I've expressed my concerns before with the way this was done with the trail was built, and it's up to us to take care of all the problems that come along with it. You know, I'm kind of disappointed how that was built and put in our lap. So now we have a trail, now we have a problem with ATVs on it, and now it's our problem to figure out how we're gonna take care of the problem. It's,
I think for me, there's a kind of a twofold problem, really, unless say threefold, with people now being utilizing it, walking it, which is what we want.
yeah,
With some of these times that were stated in the email, we're not covered during that time. Be
Yeah.
the town area.
Exactly.
Unless Joey's willing to
yeah,
take some time for the village and go over there.
yeah,
Certainly don't advocate to chase these motorcycles and these dirt bikes because you're not gonna catch them. The hard part is they've been using that trail for 30, 40 years. And that's gonna be the hard part, unfortunately. I don't wanna see anybody get hurt there.
yeah,
But
no,
if unless Joey's willing to work for us or
yeah, no.
it's at night,
I do
I
know
don't
that
know what we can do.
the game wardens do monitor that stuff, and I know they have been after Mahivy because they got a lot of problem up there with it. So I don't know if maybe we can reach out to the state police or the game wardens and see if they can, what they have for suggestions. I mean, that is part of the game warden's position to take care of that type of stuff, the ATVs and the four-wheelers.
I haven't had a chance to speak to Joey, but if they were gonna do the bike patrol this year, again, if they got funds to do that, and there'd be a possibility to have that area monitor such as they do the rec path, so
Yep.
maybe that'd be the alternative. I can check with him and get back to
Yeah.
Chris on that.
Yep, definitely. That is an idea.
And I'm certainly happy to reach out to the game wardens. I've talked to them quite a few times in the
Yeah.
recent weeks about beavers, so
Oh, sure.
I'm,
Yeah.
I can.
Sorry, an expert now?
Yeah, well, I still have lots of them. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to see pictures, I've got some great pictures.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, the rail trail, I don't think there's a quick, easy solution, but certainly we can try to do something. I think at this point, our hands are probably tied a little bit, but
Yeah.
to break that, years of using that and doing that, it may be a problem right up through the Heidi
Yeah.
Sheldon, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I see, it looks like they laid new stone as I was telling you.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that from by there, but
Yeah, this is gonna be a tricky one, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any signs that, no ATV usage on there or anything like that.
There is on the Highgate end,
Yeah.
at least from Highgate, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, I walked that trail and there is a sign, but I couldn't tell you what's on it, so the next time
Yeah.
I walk it, I'll pay
I
attention.
can't remember.
And I'm pretty sure that they are exploring more signage options and how
Yeah.
to get those up and going.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
for years and years, people have used it, so it's going to take an
Yeah.
educational period
Yeah.
to get people
Absolutely.
But the,
understanding.
maybe the other part of that is trying to get up with some kind of pole system such as we have on the rec path here, where it doesn't allow these big four-wheelers that are on that, and just kind of where you can walk through or ride a
But the
bike.
problem is because the Lubbock Rail Trail has it, they have to have filter their snowmobiles during winter time.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. It's not just a walking path.
But if
Unless they could,
you have a gate.
I was just gonna say, maybe we could gate it in the summertime.
Chris has
Yeah,
something.
Chris has a question too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I was the one who emailed James, and I also CC'd Heidi Rich Valenta because, like somebody said, there's not that much of it is in Swanton. And so the ATVs are in both areas, and she responded as well. And she's in contact with, I think it's Jason Weatherby from St. Albans PD who covers Highgate. And, everybody is right. It's a historical use. Yeah, I'm not sure that the ATVers know that it's illegal now because the LVRT sign really isn't that clear. Of course, it's all winter there were snowmobilers. But the other thing is it's not just the entrance on Robin Hood Drive. The contractor had put in boulders along the edges of the LVRT where the ATVs had come in, but they just make paths around it. So, it's, like you said, it's going to have to start with education. And I don't know whether there's like ATV groups or, is there some, inroad in the schools just to start with, okay, everybody, this is new, it's not permitted. Of course, they're tearing up the surface of this brand new trail. And of course, what prompted me to write the letter was, even though most of the ATVs, even though it's illegal, they're pretty courteous. But last week when I walked, there was a pretty narrow bridge out towards Highgate, and it came roaring right past me. I just happened to be on the bridge. So it's, when people are not courteous, it makes it that much worse.
And then they're the ones that ruin it for everybody else.
Yep, that's right.
No respect.
So,
It's gonna be very hard to control that if some other kind of alternative isn't available.
Mhm.
Because, some people feel very passionate about their ATVs and they enjoy riding them,
Yeah.
and, historically that's been used for that purpose, so, maybe there's some other alternative for them,
Yeah.
where they can still ride and not have to use that trail.
Yeah. I don't know what trails Highgate has. If they have trails Highgate, they're open. I know there is some places, but
Michelle had her hand up when you're ready.
go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo, I was out there last week and there was a group of like 6 or 7 people just get together. And I guess it is customary for them. We have to be careful because it is part of the Bass Trail. So it's supposed to be accessible for snowmobiles, right? And so you can't prevent the ATVs. But it's just something to think about, but there isn't any specific signage because I kept searching for some. So hopefully we can do that, but also just getting it out to people like me, just to know who to notify. Like, I just don't know who to notify or what to say, and I also want to be courteous to their use of it.
Police departments. I mean, you can call state police if you're out there. If Swanton PD's not on the, on our time, the state police usually have to respond. I mean, I had a problem with Highgate last winter at my house up there, and I called the state police and they came out and took care of it. It was off hours of their police department. And they were great. So I guess if someone's there at the right time and there's 4-wheelers on the trail, then call the police and report it. That is the only way we're going to get it taken care of if you catch them in action. So
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
So, are the towns responsible for putting up the signage?
That's kind of the way I've got the gist of it, Errol.
Well, I think there is some signage that they put up acknowledging that it's the rail trail.
Yeah.
But most of the signage is up to us.
So is every town required to have the same restrictions?
That I don't know.
Because that could be another issue. I think.
Well, as far as I know, don't hold me to it, but Vast is the one that has the trail. They have the right to it for the snowmobiles.
Yeah.
So it's whatever their guidelines are, I believe, is what has to be used for the guidelines of that trail. So it's only snowmobile use, not ATVs.
Right.
Yeah.
So this paperwork that I'm giving you is something that I printed off just for me to have about frequently asked questions on the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail.
Yeah.
Right from the website, and it has some signage, and I believe Kathy Lavoie is working on something to increase signage. I'm not 100% positive of what that is, but just wanting to go back to, you're right, giving them an alternative or searching out another way to facilitate their usage, I think is important, and it's definitely something that I will continue to look in as part of recreational usage here in our community.
Yeah, because there is interest in that for recreational purposes, and if you don't provide for that, then they're going to find it on their own.
That's right.
Sure, absolutely.
And I mean, there's other towns that have opened up certain town roads for the right of way, so.
Definitely something that I'll continue to work on in the coming weeks.
So.
But I think outreach and education, I'm happy to put together some sort of social media campaign or internet campaign just to educate people that that type of usage is not permitted on those trails.
That's right.
And, if you're going to do that, I think that's a really good idea. If you're going to do it, then you could, also reach out to the ATV users and say, hey, we'd like to talk to you, and, how can we make it, so that everybody's happy?
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. I think that's a better way to handle it.
And there is ATV clubs too, so.
Yeah.
There's several of them.
Yeah.
We'll read this.
Yeah, please. And I can forward you guys a copy of it as well.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you for talking about this and that.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. So, anybody else on that? Good, you guys all good? Old Town Business, discuss the art boards to scan on page 9. Well, we'll get there. Somewhere in here.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right. So did everyone have a chance to read through this?
Yep.
And you made the changes from what Brian had?
The basic change was under the number 2, term and termination, where Brian recommended there was a contradiction there between the town having a unilateral right to just end the agreement, and a paragraph that followed that required both parties to negotiate if there was a need for termination. So he recommended not having the negotiation part, so that the town would have the ability to end it quickly if it wanted to.
That makes sense. Yep.
Because it is town property.
That's right. That's right.
And that the other were more or less editorial, where village was changed. And trustees were changed to selectmen.
Okay.
That's the second one.
All right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's very detailed.
Yep. And you guys all good with what we changed and changes to this?
Yeah, I'm good with the changes. The only last thing, I kind of talked about it before, and the lawyer kind of agreed with us, is I still go back to the liability factor. We are indeed liable, even if there's verbiage in there and the artist signs off on it, unless Span has insurance. and they are covered under that. The town is most certainly liable for somebody falling and getting hurt, putting them boards up or not. I'm certainly 100% on board with these boards being done, but I must say, in representation of the town and being concerned, I'm not in favor of them boards coming up and down and people climbing ladders and taking these 4 foot by 8 foot sheets of plywood down. I'm just not comfortable with that. That's just me.
And one of the recommendations that the town attorney made was to have SPAN purchase a liability insurance policy, but that I didn't put that in there. It's up to the board to decide whether or not to make that a requirement.
Yeah, I think they've done tremendous, great work on this. I really want to see it, but that's my only concern is the liability. If somebody's climbing up, taking these plywood down and they fall, we are liable. And to eliminate any liability on any property, I think is in our best interest. I hate to see people taking these down. I know the thought is to bring that home, maybe do them or keep them when they're done. Great. But that's my only hang up. That's all. And that's just me.
What's your thoughts on that, Michelle?
Well, this is we only learned that we were on the agenda yesterday, so we hadn't had a chance to even adjust our schedules to come here. So we'll take your concerns and meet as a group. So I'm hearing the two concerns, one by the edit to the term and terminations and of the liability concerns, which you expressed before. And I think we're just going to have to respond and you know, I'd love to just see if we can communicate offline, but if you need to do it in the meeting, that's fine as well. But every 2 weeks is just hard to get anything ironed out or discussed. Yeah, so neither of these were concerns for the village, but you're a separate entity and operating as such. So we're just going to have to just decide as a group how we're going to proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
And I get, and I respect that, and we are the difference of the village and town, if they're fine with it. But for me, that should be telling you guys something as well, if they have concerns of the very same thing, same concern we had. I mean, I would take that as a whole and maybe change that, that's just me.
Okay. Anything else? You guys are all set?
I just wanted to note that the agenda was sent out to everybody last week.
That's right. Yep. Thank you, David. Window replacement update.
But when you sent the agenda out, did you send the changes to them that we were
I sent it to Michelle.
Yeah. We're good? Window replacement update.
Well, we've got a number of candidates, probably about 10 now that
Wow. Oh, good.
inquire.
Yeah.
And that the biggest question is,
Yeah.
That changed overnight?
yeah.
And I did, and I put a bug in somebody's ear today that was a salesman to tell whoever he knew that was interested in.
Yeah,
So,
one of,
yeah.
like, Poulin Lumber in Milton saw the ad, and they don't do the work, but they have
We
contracts.
got to sell the windows to someone to do the job. Yeah.
Same with Lask, Angus is an architect, he gave me a name. I also called Valancourt, and he's interested too. He normally doesn't do that type of work, but he knows people who do, so he might subcontract or something like that. But the big question is, when is the walkthrough?
Well, that's what I said we discussed tonight. We'll do something next week. When is, where are we, April? So when's our next meeting going to be? May 4th. May 4th.
And that's the deadline. I told some that we may, because we haven't had a walkthrough yet, we may have to extend the deadline.
Well, that's what I'm just trying to figure out. So if we do walkthrough next week, that's only going to give.
You're not giving time.
That's not, well, you need to give them at least a week or more to get, work up an estimate.
Yeah.
Why don't we do?
Probably be our second meeting.
Yeah, I gotta get my calculator on my phone, calendar out for next month. So if we do a meeting, let's say next Wednesday, that'll give them enough time to make it in their schedule that they can make it.
The next meeting would be the 18th.
the next meeting will be the 18th.
Yeah.
So we'll have bids due by noon on the 17th or something. Say, or just make it the end of the day on the 17th.
Yeah,
I'd like them all in the day before our meeting, so.
we usually do 4 PM the day before.
Yeah, exactly. In case something that comes in the mail, not that they probably mail it.
17th, then you said?
Yeah, so let's, bids in by,
And what time on Wednesday do you want to do the walk?
all right, just a second, David. By, 17th.
Like 4 PM.
4 PM, okay. I would like to do it, I'd love to do it at 8, but I think that's a little too early, so.
Some told me that the afternoon was better for me.
Yeah, well, it's not for me, that's the problem, so, 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. And we're gonna make it's a mandatory bid meeting. If you don't come to the bid meeting, you can't bid. Okay, that's the way it needs to be
So
done.
it's 4:28 at 9.
4:28 at 9, yeah, next Wednesday.
You should have open bid meeting, not sealed.
Well, no, that was the next thing. No, we're gonna have, so they need to submit a sealed bid and
Right.
they need to put on their window replacement on their bid. We'll tell them that at the bid meeting.
It's all explained in the.
Yeah.
The walkthrough is just to put everybody on the same page with what we want.
Yeah.
And you're doing that the 28th, is that what you said? The walkthrough?
The 28,
28, 9 o'clock.
yeah, 28, 9 o'clock. And the next question is, do we want to mandate a window? So we don't have 10 different estimates with 10 different windows and 10 different prices. Marvin?
What do we need to do?
Yeah.
And then what are the considerations considering this is a historical building?
Yeah.
That has to be all explained to all them people,
Well,
so
that,
so they all putting together, you know, something
well,
that.
that's my next thing I was gonna say is the window needs to be a wooden interior with a fiberglass exterior is what it needs to be for a window, so that the outside's protected and it's not wood. So that we're still staying with the historic value of the building. It's wood interior and the outside's protected. And the windows are gonna have to be completely stripped out with all new frames and everything, which we can explain that at the bid meeting, because you can't just put a replacement window there because the casing's shot. It's all rotted out, the old woodwork, and it needs to be ripped back to the bricks and started over. And unfortunately, the woodwork here has to be replaced too probably, so.
Is there any special considerations that we have to be careful about?
Well, if we were ever going to apply for historic rent in the future, they would have to be, the way it was explained to me by Dick Thompson, who was like 15 years ago, I think, when they did all this renovation.
Yeah.
He had to have every single window custom made, which was really expensive, in order to meet the historic guidelines. And the reason for that was they were planning to try to get a grant to remodel the upstairs.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we hired an architect to study what could be done upstairs. And it turns out it can't be used for large groups because of the post and beam floor. So you can only have like small office modules up in there, not a big meeting room like the select board at the time was envisioning. And you know, if we had a really big crowd instead of a room like this, we could go upstairs. But it just wouldn't support the weight of all the people. And the reason for the post and beam is where we make a cut to make the notch to fit them together.
Yeah.
Whatever the width of the wood that's left, that's what your structural strength is based on.
I think if I remember right, we'd have to put steel I-beams down through the ceiling in here to put the actual support we needed from the study that we had done.
So it turned out to be pretty like over, I think it was around $1 million cost to do all that. And so really, from a practical point of view, that's probably nothing like that will ever happen up there. And therefore, and I'm not even
But
sure.
it could be used for office space.
Yeah. But I don't even know for sure that you could get grants to do interior work on a historic building, because mainly they're concerned about the appearance of the outside when they give grants.
That's basically it.
So essentially, it'd probably be something, if the town did it.
Would they be able to fund these windows if we were to spend extra money?
That was, we asked that before. I know Elizabeth looked into it before.
No.
Yeah.
They've lost their historic value.
Yeah.
They've lost their historic value.
Already.
Because they're vinyl, because of what they were replaced with, she said no.
Yeah, but these didn't meet their criteria,
Correct.
so we can't. So whatever we replace them with doesn't make any difference?
I wouldn't go any further away from the historic value, but
No, I think James' idea is a good one.
Well, they're still gonna be wooden, there's still a wooden window, it just has a fiberglass finish on the outside, so it's protected from the elements. That's about as close as you're gonna get to historic, unless you wanna put a wooden window back in there. Yeah, it's true wood inside now.
The only concern is, you know, there is some concern about the historical value, obviously, and maybe something might happen, who knows, but what you're saying right now is that these already disqualify.
for funding for historic preservation, yes,
These windows that are here now.
correct.
And the historic character of the building's already been altered. There used to be a cupola on top. And in front, those large picture windows couldn't be made back in the days when the smaller panes were made. The technology back then could only make small panes like this.
Yeah.
So those had to be added on at a later date. And also from the hallway back, it's an addition that was put on later.
That's right.
This building was built, part of it was built in 1854. That back section was built later. I'm not sure of the date, but it's not part of the original construction.
Which doesn't mean it still doesn't have historic value, it's just the more that you take away from it, the less historic value it has.
Yeah.
So there's a potential that it could be like listed on the National Register because it's basically through use, not through architecture. For single use buildings, we're going through this with another property. But the more you take away from it, the less value it has. And that's where we want to be careful with the windows.
Okay, so then there will be specifics that'll have, that we need to do on these windows to stay where we are right now.
Not well, and the problem is the old single pane windows that were there back in the day got tossed, they got taken out. So now you're disqualified from historic because you didn't keep the original single pane window.
That's exactly what Elizabeth just said. No, she said there's still value.
In the building.
Yeah, sure.
So if we go, you know, if we just buy the regular window, whatever, and slap it in there, that's gonna diminish that.
The overall historic value of the property, yes.
So we have to maintain something along this line, this style.
Yeah,
That's
and
why we're gonna go with a wooden interior and then the fiberglass finish on the outside.
right. And the specs in the request for bids that I wrote specify double hung 6/6.
Yeah.
So, except for the two up front.
Yeah.
So they have to match that, and they have to have the muntins in there.
Yeah.
So it'll look about the same.
So it will be specified in our request for proposal.
Yes.
Yeah, it is in there already.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we're good with that, David?
Yeah,
The 28th, 9 AM?
yep,
Okay.
and meet outside, and then
We'll meet out in the back parking lot.
probably depending on how many show up.
Yeah.
It will depend on how many can come in.
Sure. Yeah, we'll figure that out. I don't really think it's necessary I don't think they all need to come parade to the building. They should be able to take a rough measurement to bid the job from the outside.
Yeah.
As long as they see what they got on the interior to deal with.
Or maybe we could open the window and let them peek then,
Yeah.
to see what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Or bring one in at a time.
Yeah, depending how many you got. Yeah, it's fine. They shouldn't,
I was gonna say, how many, are there specific windows that we're gonna be looking at?
the whole first floor.
Everyone on
The whole first
floor.
all the outside windows?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
No doors.
24, 5 windows, something like that, right?
14 of this type,
Yeah,
and then the two big ones up front.
yeah,
And these vary. The ones here on the left are 33.5 inches wide.
yeah.
The one,
That's
I
fine.
think that one is 45. Those,
That's all right, they can measure them, that's up to them to measure the right measurements. Okay, so that's what they're gonna do, and just make it understood that if they're gonna bid, it's a mandatory bid meeting, so.
right,
We can put that out there.
yeah, I've been telling them that.
Okay. All right, and then the sealed bids are due by April 17th at 4 PM.
May
No,
17th.
No, sorry, May, my mistake, May. Yeah, okay. Okay. Where are we? Windows span, alarm system.
Yeah, I've been contacting different installers and checked with Passive after the
Yeah.
last meeting. It is eligible for a grant through them,
That's what we said last time, yeah.
which would pay for half of the installation.
Yeah.
Which would range, depending on what bids came in, currently would be like between 900 over, maybe over 1,000 for half of it.
Yeah.
Um,
You were supposed to get a couple more bids for that,
Yeah, I
right?
contacted people who've done interest, they want to come out and look at the system.
Yeah.
There's not a lot like the other ones, maybe
No.
3 that are
Yeah,
interested,
okay,
including one we already have. But the thing is, the company we have right now is really good.
yeah,
And if someone comes in really low from
Yeah.
the other groups,
Yeah.
we're required to go with them.
Mhm.
So in essence.
well, we don't have to, as long as we don't take the grant.
Right, exactly.
do what we want.
That's 2
That's right.
options. If you want the grant, you have to go with the low bidder. If you
Yeah.
don't,
Mhm.
you can just go and move. We're
We'll cross that bridge if it happens,
Yeah.
you know,
We'll see what
simple
the,
as that. So let's get those
See,
bids so we
sorry.
can stay here.
yeah, gonna be making appointments with them.
Okay, good. Rec path trash can update. How did
Down at the
we,
very last page of the packet, on the right-hand side is the can that I would recommend.
Mhm.
That's the cheapest of all that I've researched. It looks exactly like the ones out in the village park. They just go to the very end, the very last page. and flip it.
yeah.
Yeah, they're expensive. The other ones that I looked at that aren't an exact match, are even more expensive. Yeah.
What color though?
Either, you
Black.
should get it in black or other colors. The black is the
Yeah.
color of the ones in the park.
So do these come with a post and stuff to mount them on, David, or?
No, the way, they come with crossbars on the bottom with holes in them that you put concrete in the ground like Greg
Yeah.
did. Put bolts in the concrete,
Oh,
and
okay,
then you have to bolt.
just bolt it to a sonotube or
Yeah,
something.
you have to match it to the holes, and then you
Yeah.
bolt it down so that
Okay,
it'd be pretty impossible for someone to unbolt it.
And then you put it on the can inside then.
there's a metal can, I think, that goes
Yeah.
inside the ring, yeah.
Yeah, and they sell bags for these too,
Yeah.
that fit them.
Yeah.
And then the other question is the highway crew gonna pick up the stuff?
Someone's gonna have to empty them, I don't know what we're gonna do about that, but.
How many
Well,
gallons,
they-
how many gallons is this?
What's that?
How many gallons?
32.
Yeah.
You know, like typical trash. So you don't have to buy bags for them.
Not from the company, no, our suppliers.
Well, they made you put a can right inside them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only concern I have is the town hall and the highway only has really household trash cans we throw our trash in. So we started collecting bags of trash out of here, where we're gonna throw it.
Do you have a dumpster here?
No, we don't have a dumpster.
Well, we have
Yeah, those little roller bins, but you start emptying those things every week or more, or whatever we empty them. We don't have a dumpster. No, I don't know why. We never had a dumpster there.
So maybe we should look at that and see what that would cost. I mean, to come empty it once a month, take trash maybe from, have Brian pick up the trash here,
Yeah,
one place instead of 2. Might save you a little bit, I don't know, towards the asking,
yeah.
have a small dumpster.
Yeah, and the 3 places I would recommend would be the bridge.
Yeah.
Grand Ave and Robin Hood.
Yeah.
If you only put one out there, it's a mile long, so I mean, if you put it in the middle, it's a half mile, somebody's gonna have to carry something to get rid of it.
Mhm.
And so that would be 3 locations that
Yeah. and we got
have to be
more than
picked
enough.
up.
Yeah.
If you approve of that.
How are we gonna pay for them? That's the next question.
So I've looked into contributions to grants, things like that. It's gonna take months upon months to get anything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't see that would be a good option for us to continue to go down.
Who's gonna install them?
Well, I'm sure highway could handle installing.
Okay, you're gonna have
Yeah.
this, so then we're not, well.
Where you got that? We got a little bit
Right,
spent
we're
whatever else,
gonna
but
hire somebody to do
Yeah,
it, so you're looking at that $1,600
yeah.
plus the cost of the can.
3 cans or 4 cans? It's the 3, right?
3.
I think 3 is more than
So
enough.
That'd be 1,200.
That'd be $1,200.
Yeah. Yeah, so probably $1,300 to return the set and whatever else, you know. So to,
Which brings a question to mind because I'm still relatively new to the board.
yeah,
In this rec path agreement that we entered into with the state back in 2003,
yeah,
in item number 27, it discussed upon completion of the project that if the project is constructed, the municipality will maintain the completed project in a manner satisfactory to the state or if authorized representatives at no cost to the state, and will make ample provisions each year for such maintenance. Have we been putting aside money for maintenance?
Well, Brian takes care of it every year.
Yeah.
I understand, but if the path were to need to be
hang on a second. We don't have a special fund for the rec path, right?
No, when we paved it, it was a one line.
One line item, that was it, yeah.
Approved when we did the pavement.
Yeah.
So
We don't have a maintenance
if we
budget.
were to go ahead and purchase these, they're not budgeted for it, where would you recommend the money come from?
Well, it's the rec pass, it's out of highway budget.
But well, when we get to highway tonight, we ain't gonna have the money left to buy garbage cans, so.
I'm sure we can find
Yes.
those.
That's just 300 feet of road I can't pave this year with my road, so now only 300, maybe 3 feet, yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll have to take it out of the highway budget, that's the only way, I hate to, but.
Yeah, but that rec pass benefits also.
Well, it should
So,
come out.
it does.
It should just come out of the
It come out of the general
It should
fund
go out of the
because
general fund, technically.
the general fund is both the village and the
Yeah.
town rate, so
Yeah, it should, yeah.
Yeah.
I will find the.
All right, between me and Kathy, we'll figure out where we get the money and
We can go ahead and approve the purchase.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
let's,
All right, then I move that we purchase the 3 that Dave has recommended for $390, well, we'll call it $400 a piece.
yeah. I got one question before we finish that. Is there any shipping or anything on these?
Most likely, yeah. I haven't,
So
you have to go through the whole process of buying it to find out what that is.
let's say we'll spend up to $1,500 on the trash cans. That way it covers the concrete installing it. We get hopefully shipping.
We'll just say the $1,200 plus shipping.
Okay.
And with the intent that the highway department will install these.
Yep.
I'll second that, Earl.
Go ahead and finish. And the money will come from the general fund.
Yep. Okay. Perfect.
I second.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, David, order 3 of them babies.
All right.
Get some trash bags to go in them. You don't have to order the trash bags from the company. We probably can get that from our supply company cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me,
You?
me.
Already? Wow, look at that. We're cruising. Yep, community economic development.
So as we talked about earlier, I provided a list of 10 updates in writing.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask that some of these are not yet for public consumption.
Okay.
So I will talk about a couple of things. Meter evaporator, they've gotten $750,000 dispersed, and you can read the details on the rest of that.
Yeah.
So the remaining $250,000 will be dispersed once they get the 58 employees back. They're kind of at a net zero on hiring because they'll hire a couple and lose a couple at the same time as, you know, as a lot of folks are struggling with finding and keeping employees. So we'll be sitting on that 750 mark for a little while. We had a meeting, I'm skipping to number 4, we had a meeting with some folks in St. Albans just to talk about, you know, I don't want to turn Swanton into St. Albans, but they've done some really nice things in their downtown, and I think it's worth having a discussion with how they made some of those things happen. So we had some really nice conversations with them, and they really stressed the importance of streetscaping. It's a long, not inexpensive project, but it really makes a difference to the vibrancy of your downtown. So Reg and I had a subsequent meeting, and we've got some priority projects on that. The Riviera Hotel, the village doesn't know this because I didn't go to the last meeting, but the Brella program, the brownfield reuse and limited liability program has had some funding. They weren't supposed to, but they found some funding for April. So we very quickly got an application in that may fund most, if not all of the phase 2 work plan. Haven't heard back yet, but if we can get that money, then we can start cleaning up the implementing the phase 2 work plan on the Riviera Hotel. Working with number 9, working with the Healthy Community Task Force. You may or may not remember that the Historical Society did a heritage walking tour, and it was a really cute map. It was a project done by a young lady out of UVM, part of her schoolwork, and we're looking to update that and put on some QR code, put on a QR code so people can say we are here, and it would take them to the Historical Society's website. Just as a way for folks to know what different buildings are in town, where they are, what they are, and what they used to be. So kind of and give people a reason to be in the village. The other thing is I reached out to Christine Stell, number 10, because her and I happen to be talking, and as somebody who is looking at perhaps buying a condo, we need to diversify our housing stock. Housing market is really hot right now, and it's hard to find anything, much less townhomes or condos or really nice multifamily properties. So just what can we do to diversify our housing stock? So that's an ongoing conversation that I'll be having with realtors. You need a new one? No. Okay. One of the biggest things is we are having, I believe it is the 4th annual community-wide yard sale, May 22nd. We just started last week putting the information out, and we have 12, if you count me, it's 13 yard sales. Anybody can register, and I'll get the information out again. It's free to register for Swanton residents. We have some spots on the Village Green, the north end, but most people opt to do it at their homes because who wants to haul stuff back and forth to the Village Green? So again, that is Saturday, May 22nd, with the rain date of the 23rd, hoping that it doesn't rain both days. So that's not on there.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm missing number 2.
It's a late edition, so I just did want to, that's an important one, because it really did drive people to town, and I understand we're still in the pandemic, but as long as people are smart and responsible, I think we can get some folks selling and buying on May 22nd. So that's what I have. We'll talk, I think, more later.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have liquor control tonight?
You do.
Okay, and your motion to go into liquor control?
Oh.
Yeah. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. We're now in liquor control.
Okay, we have 2 renewals. One is Pump and Munch. They were new last year and
Yeah.
they've gone from there, no violations.
Okay,
And A&A Brothers LLC, which is the old St. Marie's.
okay.
And they've been no violations for past year, so basically it's just straight renewals.
Good. I hear a motion to approve those 2 liquor licenses.
I'll make that motion to approve both of them.
I will second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Expenditures, general orders. Oh, we never put, oh, it's order, okay. Oh, general. I hear a motion to approve general orders from 3/17 to 4/20, 21.
I'll make that motion to approve the general orders for such dates.
I'll second it.
All right, discussion?
The only discussion I have is concern of legal fees that we are already above and beyond, and we are only 4 months in what we're budgeted. No fault of our own, but
Page of the front page.
yeah, we're on general, right over here, on this one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, you're looking at that.
Yep, right there.
Well, you have-
Oh, I'm sorry, never mind.
You're looking at the budget.
My fault.
Sorry,
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah,
yeah, we got that one,
we're
yeah,
all good.
but,
No question.
yeah, there is some legal on this one, but,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
I
good.
don't think I did. Any other discussion on that, General?
You were on the right one.
Yeah. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Highway, looking motion to approve the orders from 3/17 to 4/20/2021.
I'll make that motion, accept the
Yep.
highway orders.
And second,
Second.
all right, then we'll have some discussion. Questions?
That's on that MVU sidewalk, that was just for,
That's part of the grant.
Yeah.
Money, that's for the,
Engineer,
engineering of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Review. Part of the grant, we got grant money to offset that.
money set aside for that.
And our own money set aside for that.
okay, so you bought that truck too?
We did, yeah. Yeah, that's the cab and chassis. And then we'll get the bill for the rat and the plow and the body when they put that on.
A repair bill on it, one of them.
There is, that's the one I told you about, I think a meeting or two ago, that the Volvo had some emission issues that we had to have fixed. I mean, not much choice, had to be fixed, so. Unfortunately, things nowadays are not cheap to fix anything.
No.
Yeah. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed, ayes have it. Payroll, 3/17/2021 to 4/20/2021. Your motion to approve that.
I make the motion that we approve the payroll.
The only thing on this payroll is Michelle, when I paid her for her Swanton.
Nicole.
Nicole.
Nicole, sorry. Sorry, Nicole.
Sorry, everyone does it.
So I did pay Nicole, but because she works for the rec department too, she's coded Department 3.
Yeah,
But I did pay her through Department 1.
okay.
On the first page of the payroll, it's her main department's number 3, so it didn't print on here, so I'm going to do an amended one.
I'm glad you.
So that she'll be on here the next time. So so you can either choose not to sign this one tonight and wait for the amended one. Or you can sign this one and I'll give you an amended.
Dollar amount's not gonna change, right?
Huh?
Dollar amount's not
Yeah,
gonna change.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
Because I didn't.
Oh, because it, I'm sure you're more than capable. We can make it with a restriction, with the amendment, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
we're gonna approve it with that amendment.
Yep. Sounds good. I got a motion.
I'll second it.
You second. And any other discussion?
Just one discussion for Mr. Bacchus dated 4/9, 1,476. Is that vacation buyout? What is?
There's, that was the insurance deductible that we
Okay.
have, that we can run it through payroll, so it's not actually payroll, it's like a reimbursement.
Oh, okay.
Like we reimburse people for
Somebody for,
Yep,
office supplies
okay.
or postage or something
Yep.
they may pick up, or,
yep.
okay.
so sometimes those fluctuate because they picked up something and we have to reimburse them through payroll.
I'm just happy I finally got my name on it.
We questioned that for a
Yeah,
while.
I know. So we got a first, a second, we're ready. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Payroll's done. Now we gotta do quarterly. Quarterly budget. We got, let's do general first. Just go down through it.
So right now, we're about 33% through the year,
Yep,
so the numbers are pretty much on task.
Yep.
There's some that are over.
Mhm.
But what it is we will, the selectman salary was over because
that
we
was my
had
first question.
people that worked part of the year
Yeah.
and got done, and then we had people that finished the year and got paid for their time.
Yeah.
So we had actually 2020
Yeah,
money paid in 2021.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Because we had like, Karen got done,
yeah,
Gary got done, and
okay.
Joel got done.
Yeah, okay.
So
I guess I understand it.
I get it.
So
Yeah,
there was a little overlap from
yeah.
2020 to this year.
All right.
Well, I kind of figured that out myself, but I was disappointed. I thought I was gonna be making more money.
Yeah.
And, printing expense is up. We had, some of the town reports in there, which was like $2,361, I think it was. But we won't have a lot more of that. We should get to the year and what we have left.
Good.
Election expense, we will not have another election this year.
Yeah,
And natural gas are 42%, but we're going into spring now, so that's gonna go.
it'll average out. Yep. No, that's good, right?
Legal fees, we have no control over that.
You got some that haven't spent any money yet, but that's just because it's summertime or different activities.
Right, it will get spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people haven't got their payout
And
yet.
some of it might not get spent.
Yeah.
And then everything else, we're at 50% on the insurance, but that's because we pay 4 times a year and we pay 2.
Yeah.
Page 2, that's appropriations, we have dispersed debt and zoning. We're pretty good on them. And then the rest of our is our appropriations. And then on page 3 is our articles that we've started making some dispersals to the rest of the squad, the library and the recreation that just sent in their letter. So they'll start getting some money too.
Good.
Yeah, as I said, just the only thing that caught my attention right now, obviously is the legal stuff we don't have control over, but it's
Right,
just alarming where here we are today, and we're already over budget. And there's a couple of particular reasons why, but I think we just need to be careful.
But
well, this has been an odd year.
this,
Normally, we used to budget $10,000 for year after year, and we were over budgeting.
yeah,
So then we dropped it down to 5,000, and we have 5,000 for the general fund, and then we have
yeah,
10,000 for zoning.
Okay.
yeah,
And luckily, we haven't had them.
yeah, because we had a major issue a few years back. We had zoning, it cost us a lot of money. These legal fees, Kathy, is some of that money
Yeah, we can.
that we're gonna get back from
Some
leader,
of it
right?
is leader evaporator. There's
Yeah.
probably close to 3,000.
That's what I was guessing,
I
so
can get you the number, I could get
that'll help a
before.
lot.
So we'll get that reimbursed, but it's still gonna show on the expense line.
Okay.
But we do have a reimbursement forthcoming for that.
Yeah, have we given them bill for the?
No, we haven't,
Okay, yeah, something we probably should do.
because I think we just got the last bill,
Okay,
so.
yeah, once we get the final bill.
So the
then-
final, so
Yeah.
we'll be able to,
Yeah.
just put all
Okay.
this together and give them
Sounds good.
the payment.
The highway, it's not my fault.
Well, you're in charge.
That high paying job. Yeah. Go on.
Parts and supplies, that include that 6,000 repair?
What I
I
did,
believe it does, let me ask.
yeah,
Kathy.
so what I did was I attached the detailed transaction for that line item in here, so you can see that that $6,000 is included on page 2.
Mhm. Yeah,
And also, there's a bill for,
Yeah, but it's not included in this 25,000.
yes, it is.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yes, yes. And then Lafayette, there's a $1,955 bill. That was the guardrails in Woods Hill. We actually got reimbursed from the insurance company for that.
yeah.
But why is Carson up so high already?
Because we have those huge repairs in there for the truck, the Volvo had a $7,000 repair a month or so ago.
Yeah,
And then we got, blades was on the last general order we did, or the highway order we just did is in here. That was $1,800 and something. There's been a lot of repairs, unfortunately. We didn't go out and buy any new tools, I can tell you that. Yeah. I'll tell you what else is on here.
I can
Yeah.
pull those bills if you want to know what the total.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
So you should anticipate the rest of the year will probably be pretty quiet.
Well, minus the one thing we're gonna talk about when we get to highway, when the other trucks need some repairs, so we need to talk about that. So you think that shot down would be even worse after talking about the next thing. But I don't anticipate anything else. There's nothing else. I mean, guys do a lot of maintenance in the wintertime on the truck, so it does eat up some of it in the
And you
wintertime.
did buy a new body for that new.
We did, which we can take that money out of the contingency
Yeah.
fund. That's the 1 ton, the body was all rotted out on it, dump bed. And we found a bargain on a new bed that had one ding in it. It was, I think it's on here. It's $2,000.
So that's that 25,000.
That's in that money, yeah.
Now it was 2656 for the new,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
the light kit had to come with it,
yeah,
because the light kit that we
Yeah.
had now when you get the new one.
no. So it wasn't, the body on there is beyond where it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
For what it was gonna cost us to $1,500 odd to weld the body up and patch it up, we bought a new one for a little over $2,000. That last,
Oh, yeah,
that's the one what New York got, but
I guess this as a member of the select board,
Yeah.
there were, but look, unexpected expenses in this 25,000.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
See, that would be nice to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if they were, we know the Volvo.
Yeah.
But what were some of the other ones?
None of, I don't think there's any other huge ones that they just add up, but, I mean, they purchased some new blades for they call them blades, for the plows, was $1,800 and something.
But don't they do that every year?
Yeah, that's part of the budget, budgeted, so.
That should have been budgeted, that should have been figured in when they did the budget.
Well, that's why it's underneath the parts and repairs. That's
Yeah.
why they have that money allotted. Yeah,
You know, you get way over it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not, we weren't expecting to spend $7,000 on the Volvo either, so that was a huge chunk out of your budget right
That's
there.
an understandable one, but I wonder, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
how many more were like that, unexpected?
There shouldn't be anything. The Volvo was the biggest thing, and then the body we bought, that was not in the budget for that.
And then
But we
the,
have the contingency fund of rollover money from last year. I figured we'd just take the money out of that to put back.
I think Kevin had to have some stuff done to his truck earlier.
Well, it's in the shop. We're gonna talk about that when we get to highway.
So it looks like it's probably so far, there's like a figure based on the body and the Volvo, there was 10,000 in unexpected.
Yeah.
Part
Yep.
supplies.
Yep, it's safe to say.
Budgeted for,
Yep. So that gives you about half your budget. You're a little over.
a little over half. So
As I said, we do a lot of maintenance work in the wintertime, so that eats up that. And there was something else in there too that's not probably listed out here. We got parts for the grader. We had to have a couple of cylinders that were leaking out, rebuilt, and it was like $1,500 for the parts and the rebuild on that.
that wasn't something that they planned on when they put the budget together.
No, it wasn't planned on separate, but it was, they were leaking pretty bad and they needed to be fixed, so. But that was another thing to add up to it, but everything else has been maintained, so. Other than we're gonna talk about the international when we get
I think
to
this is more of a curiosity question. Under gas, oil and grease,
Yep.
that expense, is that just gas, oil and grease? Is there any fluids, anything like that, or does that go under parts?
ask Kathy that question.
You know?
Gas, oil, grease, like your tacky grease,
Yeah.
anything grease, gas and oil goes under
Okay,
Yeah,
there. Parts, maintenance.
goes on to the parts,
The
yeah.
antifreeze goes under the gas oil. Anything that's liquid,
Yep.
oil, anything to get goes under that
So
line
that's-
item.
okay. So I guess where I'm going with that is, as far as oil, do we purchase that as needed when we change the oil? Or do we buy a 50-gallon drum or a 5-gallon drum and save money doing it that way? Because I think you would save a significant amount of money by it all and not going down every time as well.
I think we have it, but I think we have it in a barrel.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think we buy it in a barrel, because I know we don't have gallons of oil there for the trucks. I'm pretty sure it's in a
It just-
barrel.
It makes-
Like we get oil for the
Yeah.
chainsaw, we get oil for the,
Yeah, that stuff comes by the gallon.
the other.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No, I'm almost 100% sure it's, but I can check. I know, I think you buy it in bulk, by the barrel. Yeah. Anything else for highway or, yeah, highway budget? You don't have,
Sound like some busy beavers up there.
yeah. Sure is a lot going on. Dave, well, I can talk about this stuff with the highway, but. All right,
Good job, Kathy.
thank you, Kathy.
A lot of numbers.
Yeah. Highway updates. The first on there is
Thank
the
you again, you will.
paving. We got to, I'm kind of waiting. Have you heard it? We still haven't heard nothing from the state about the grants or anything there.
Nope.
Yeah. We've got, where was I got on my paper? We got a list of roads that we'd like to pave, but of course it's more money than what we've got to spend. So we're looking at, and it depends whether we get this grant from the state or not. The list is P.E.G Road, Frontage Road, Canal Road, Swanton Hill Road, and Reynolds Road, Wheel Around, Fair Street, Sugar Maple Drive, and Gauthier Drive. I will say Frontage Road is absolutely, it's in terrible shape.
Yes.
Yes.
For number one. And then you've obviously, we know P.E.G Road's not in good shape either. But we're hoping that we apply for a grant for that road. We're hoping that we'll get the money.
Just for that road?
It's just for that road, but it's, well, 175,000, I think we can get up to. Which the estimate, rough estimate to pave it is about 200,000, but, you know.
So that's over and above our normal state aid that you're looking for additional money?
Yeah, well, we only have 286,000 in the paving budget. And this rough price is 538,000 for these roads that we're gonna pave, we wanna pave. I know we ain't gonna have the money to pave them all, but,
So frontage
Yeah.
roads worse? Are they ranked right now?
I don't have rank, but I can tell you what, you know, from worst to what their conditions are.
The highway department recommended.
This is our recommendation. This is from our highway guys.
So I'm assuming they listed them,
Yeah.
the top one, the next one.
They're not listed that way. They're just quoted out in prices. Each individual one's priced on it. And this is only a rough estimate.
Yeah.
We just got from one person. So we had an idea to work with what we could afford and then we can put out to bid. I mean, Sugar Maple Drive, Gauthier Drive are in really bad shape. Wheel Round's in bad shape. The frontage road's in bad shape. Those are probably the top, and obviously P.E.G Road are the top ones. And the other one is, we can talk about it now for that matter, is the Swanton Hill Road. I don't know if you guys all know where that is, up on the backside of French Hill. There's a bad curve in that road that's real dangerous when the guys plow up there. And we talked about it numerous times that the landowner is willing to swap the land to straighten the road out up there. So when we go down through there, it's a straight shot across the bridge at the bottom of the hill. But the problem is we got to do some blasting to put the road down where it needs to go. So
There's no wetland issues there?
no, it's on the side of the hill. So it's not down near the bottom where the,
But I thought you had to turn to go up the hill.
you do, but I don't think it's down by the bottom.
A little bit farther.
I don't think you'll be near that. We'd have to look at that, obviously. Make sure.
Yeah, because that was back, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I spent a year or so since I've been up there.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
when you get down to the bottom, you gotta turn.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem
Yeah.
is that they were saying Dad was trying to get back up there
Mhm.
because you can't get a run.
Can't get a run on it. Yep, absolutely. That's the biggest problem. Everybody hates going up there.
Yeah.
And the road's not, and you know, there's only 6 to 8 houses on that road up in there on the end of it from that section, but becomes a liability. Over the years, we've tipped over trucks up there before, so before my time, but.
It's an interesting curve in the road.
Yeah, it's, yeah,
Drive up there.
and we did have,
Yeah.
they did estimate roughly about $20,000 to
How much?
about 20,000 to do the blasting, so but they had a blast.
We
But
gotta go through permitting for the state to change that road, or does that work?
it's our road, it has nothing to do with the state, so I don't think we'll have to go through the state permitting, but.
Yeah, but if it's funding, I don't know if that COVID funding or any of that stuff is gonna come into play here.
I don't know. Yeah, that's all up in the air. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna.
Because it, you know, that has been a long time problem.
Yeah, that's long, and that's what we got discussion about, because the guys wanted to pave the road. I said, well, I can't see this as a paving if we're gonna
No,
try to finally straighten that out, and maybe this is the time to finally get it done with. Like I said, the landowner is willing to swap land, he'd be more than glad to see us straighten the road out. Obviously, we can do all the work.
but this is not gonna be a 5-minute job.
No,
Is it something that we should look at budgeting in for next year and get the paving done this year, then
Yeah.
not paving on that road,
not
but
paving on
other
that road.
areas,
Yeah,
budget it into next year for the time commitment.
Yeah.
The man
we
hours.
can look at it, yeah.
Well, what I
I mean, we
think
do have, we do have money, but.
what would be a good thing is if we all went up there
Mhm.
with the highway department,
Yeah,
you know, and took a look at it so we know exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you're gonna wanna, it's gonna be more of a longer term thing because there's a lot of work that needs there if you wanna do it right.
yeah,
That's why it never got done
Mhm.
before. And I mean, there's only what, 2 or 3 houses back there.
yeah, there's five or, I think there's 5 houses and 2 camps that road feeds on that end. There's some on the other side of it, of course, before you go down the hill, but, yeah,
But,
and it's dead end, it is dead end road, but,
you know, back at the time, it was costing the town a lot of money just to do that little bit.
yeah,
You know, and I
Yeah.
know there was a lot of
Yeah.
improvements made up on the French Hill part of the road,
absolutely.
but that's.
We got a lot in the last 3-4 years up there.
Yeah, that section there is probably.
Yeah.
But I think it's really gonna be
Yeah.
a long-term thing, you know, we have to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
It's not something you're just gonna say, okay, we're gonna take care of it, go ahead.
No.
You know,
No, absolutely, no. And any other huge thing over in that area is the bridge on the Berry Road, which just crossed the road from where this Swan Hill Road is that culvert needs to be replaced from the flood damage from a couple of years, last year, or the year before, I guess it was, 2019 flood.
and
So-
I know, one of the things I was talking about back then was,
Yeah.
you know, maybe if we got it improved enough,
Yeah.
we could swap off with one of the other towns.
Yeah, yes, well, see, we used to do that,
Nobody
but
wanted to
nobody
touch
wants to plow it anymore because it's so dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they never did.
Yeah,
They
no.
didn't want to touch it back.
you know, I know for a while we had the town of St. Albans was doing it, and then they finally just said, no, forget it, it's too
I
bad.
think you make a good point. If we can get that to its much improved road, they're willing to save us the time and
Mhm.
the cost of up there. And
Oh, yeah, it's an hour wasted to drive all the way up around there to plow that. It's a lot of work.
Takes a while to get up there.
Yeah, especially if it's snowing, so.
Yeah, as far as paving, I certainly advocate to do wheel around. I mean, I go on that road all the time.
Yeah.
For the amount of houses and usage of vehicles that on there, and maybe
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
fixing that entrance and exit of that right away that we've got many complaints on,
Yeah.
the water and people cutting across lawns.
Mhm.
Maybe something we can look at fixing our
Yeah.
wheel around. I think to me is
Mhm.
really should be a top
Yeah.
3 in my opinion, but that's just, I haven't looked at the other roads. I just know I'm on that one a
See
lot.
what was up there, so that.
Yeah, you should talk with Kevin and see if he'd be interested in having us go up there.
Yep.
and So we get his thoughts and, you know, we start working on it. Maybe we can finally get it done.
Yeah, you get a plan.
Yeah, they did have, I can't think, I know his first name's Tyler, but he's done some engineering for us. He did, Billingsley, yeah, he did go up and look at it, and that's where we got the rough estimate of what it cost to do the blasting and stuff, so. But, yeah, of course, then you get into the deal of land swapping and all that stuff too, so. But, yeah, maybe we should set up a meeting and I'll talk to the guys about it, so we can all look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to put these roads out to bid so we can get bids on them, or do we want to hold on to, I mean, I'd like to get it out to, I guess we could put it out to bid with a contingency that Beaver Road may or may not be paid because we're waiting on the grant, you know?
All the funding's gonna be,
Yeah,
if any.
so we'll,
When you put them out, do they do each road separate or they just do a total at the end?
they'll do each road separate with a price, and then they'll give you a total amount at the end.
Okay, so
I know we usually,
we'll know how much we can afford.
that's just it,
We
so.
can pick and choose.
Yeah, so I guess we'll leave it the way it is.
Yeah, leave it
Well, we
the
got
way
our
it is.
roads and
Yeah.
we'll do what we can afford. Just one thing I want to make sure we're all on the same page on, and David, can you correct me if I'm wrong? in the past, when we bid paving, we usually go by the per ton price. That's how we pick our bid. So whoever's got if their per ton price is cheaper, they're gonna win the bid. Their overall number might be more, but the price per ton is cheaper. Is the way we used to do it, because we pay by the ton.
Yeah.
They pay a road, so.
Yeah,
So-
and Joel set up a template that has a list, they have to bid that.
Yeah.
Per ton.
Okay. So we'll put this list again. I'll give you a copy of it, David. I'll forward it to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll put the,
So we can put it out to bids
Yep.
for the road paving. And then we'll just make sure they understand the bidders that this is what we're hoping to do, and it's contingent upon some state money. So,
yeah, I think that's right in the bid document, the request for bid
Yeah,
document. that-
yeah. And you gotta understand too is they're playing with the AC oil price, which that regulates the price of tires, so asphalt. Makes a big difference. What the price of gas, fuel keeps going up. What else we got on here? Truck repairs. So this is the next one. So the International is at Clark's right now. It has emissions problems. And it's got an estimate here in front of me. I think you all have a copy of it. It's right there on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$89.58.
Yeah, it's $8,958 worth of repairs it needs.
I thought we were replacing that truck.
Well,
That was gonna be my-
was our plan, we were trying to, but
That's when they only want to give us 25.
yeah, exactly.
I know, but,
There is, hang on, so there's $1,000 contingency in that price that they put, I asked them to explain to me what that was for today, and it's in case they have something extra that they need to, they figure by a percentage of what the bid is, the price to repair it. They figure in, I think he said 25%, or it may not be 25%, a percentage for broken bolts or whatever extra pieces they need in their price.
this is a truck we're replacing, right?
Well, we're hoping to replace that.
Oh, you just bought one.
We just bought one, but the issue we've run into is they don't want to give us nothing for it.
Yeah, but
So,
we don't have the new truck yet.
no, we don't have.
How long is it gonna be before we get the new truck?
3-4 months, probably. Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is the truck's worthless unless we fix this stuff. You can't run it with emissions back because it'll blow.
I know, but could you sell it?
Yeah, for 10,000 probably. Yeah, I'm not being smart, but
Oh, I know.
I'm being serious.
How much is it,
Yeah.
with this work done, how much is it gonna be worth? Based on mileage and book, there's gotta be some
Well,
value out there.
they offered us $25,000 trade-in for it, with it running before we took it up there to have them do the work on it. Yeah, and obviously we can't trade it now because we already bought the new truck outright, so.
So that would probably be the max you get on the open market, 25,000?
Well, they're advertising these trucks the same thing as this right now, Clark's or Charlie Boy's, the same exact truck pretty much for 45,000. They're trying to sell them for. Same mileage, same style, same everything. So
We could probably get a little bit more if we try to sell.
we might get a little bit more if we try to sell it privately, which we
But
have.
you've got to get it fixed either way.
We gotta get it fixed either way, yeah. They're not easy, I mean, I think Clark's has 3 of these trucks sitting on a lot that are used, the same thing as this, and Charlie Boyd's got 2 of them. Nobody wants them, because they have nothing but problems with the engine.
What makes you think you're gonna get 40,000 for it?
It does it, that's the point I'm making, yeah, that's the exact point I'm making.
So max you're probably looking at is 25.
Honestly, yeah, that's what they offered us to trade, so. Yeah, and that's why we didn't trade it, because for $25,000, granted, yes, we gotta put some money into it, it's still worth more than that to us for a spare truck and giving it away, you know?
But we're over budget on repairs already.
I know we are, but
I guess we got no choice but to do it.
we don't have any
The
choice.
question is gonna be, are we gonna need the income to balance things out before the end of the year by selling it?
Yeah.
Well, we got money in our carryover, and because we carried over money from last year in the
Yeah,
highway.
but that carryover money was supposed to go, doesn't that reduce the amount you?
No, we had money left in our
No,
budget, so we
they-
carried it over to put in
A
it.
motion to carry it over.
To carry it over.
And the highway department is the only department that can do that.
Yeah,
Like if I have money left over,
Right,
I can't carry it over, but the highway can because
I think we
some of
have
it is budgeted and some of it was.
50-ish thousand in there probably, yeah.
We got some extra money from
Yeah.
the state for highway, So they opted to roll that over in case we need it for highway, if we need it or something.
I think the thing is it, when we get to that point, do we decide to try to sell it, or do we keep it for an extra truck, God for knows what?
Yeah.
You got the extra maintenance. for
Well, we got extra money from the state, but of course, that's our money anyway, but, this is, at least it don't come in our tax bill.
Yeah,
You know, maybe we, you know, take advantage of that, get the thing fixed and.
See what you can get. You never know.
yeah, as I said. unless we
Maybe not
receive-
even sell it, maybe keep it as a stand. I mean, if you, it sounds to me like this, it looks like it might be more like 18,000.
We'll put it out there.
If these trucks have that bad a reputation, nobody's gonna touch them if they.
And that's exactly
If they
it.
go through an auction, I'm telling you, they probably wouldn't
get
get
10.
15.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, exactly.
You don't put it down on the lot.
Yeah,
No, anybody will.
yeah.
I'm just telling you, they won't bring that.
No, it's sad. They
That's what the
don't,
word
because of the emissions. They don't, nobody wants them because the motor is terrible. They built that truck, they don't even make it anymore.
So what do you want a motion to do this or?
I need, so I want the board's approval, so I guess we'll make a motion to approve the repairs on the International, 2000, that's the 2012, I think, isn't it, Kathy? Yeah. On the 2012 International for repairs up to $8,958.
I make a motion that we do the repairs on that International up to $9,000.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. Thank you, guys. Whoa, what else we got on here?
Wire.
Yes, there you go. I couldn't read my writing, it's pretty bad. Yes, so I offered the highway position to Brian Washburn this evening. And he accepted it. Nice younger guy, great, got 4 or 5 years experience in the highway. Lives right here in town. He's involved in the fire department.
He was the one that worked for Risky, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep. Yeah, no, they said he had some great references. Everybody said he was a real go-getter and not afraid to jump in and do anything. So I think he'll fit in great. So
When's he start?
he's gonna let me know tomorrow. He's got to let them know, it's 2 weeks notice. So it's 2 weeks, either start tomorrow or Monday from there. So somewhere around the first part of May, he'll be starting.
There were some great candidates there. And,
Yep.
You know,
No, absolutely.
weeding out which ones, and that's the one that looked at.
And I'll share it. We asked him where and Mark can attest to this, and where he thought he'd be in 5 years or down the road. And he said, my goal was to be a foreman someday. So, I thought that was a great.
That's a good answer.
Good answer. He said, I don't expect to be the foreman tomorrow. He said, I want to earn it and I want to work my way up the ladder. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, we're gonna need one someday.
That's right. Absolutely.
The thing that I liked, and not to discount any one of the other candidates, he's just moved here a year and a half ago, bought a house, got a wife, daughter, 2 kids, is on the volunteer fire department. So he's certainly a vested community member, and that's great to see. Nothing wrong with give somebody the opportunity and not to take away from any of the others.
Yeah.
He just said some of the right things that
Well,
does it for a young man.
he was as qualified as anybody I saw.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them with experience. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, anybody, a lot of talking tonight. Anything else for highway? Any unnecessary business? David, we put,
Fire marshal.
fire marshal, there we go.
Fire warden.
Fire warden, yeah.
On the bottom,
I thought,
should make a motion. No, we didn't do this one yet.
no, I know, but who's the fire warden now?
John Barrett.
Yeah,
Same one.
so John's still gonna be,
He's still gonna be.
Every 5 years it has to be.
Oh, all right, I thought we did that, we always did that when we did, reorganization before,
This
yeah,
is
okay.
from
But they're not tree warden.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Two different things.
there's 2 different things, a tree and a fire, yeah. If you want your burn permit, you gotta call John, get your burn permit,
So the
so,
state wants the board to approve
okay,
having him as a Swanton fire warden.
Okay.
And then it goes back to the state and they approve it.
okay, and you talked to him, he's all set with?
Well, he says right in there that in the letter.
Oh, he's already signed it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just need a motion to prove, John Barrett is continuing to be the, Vermont State Forest Fire Warden.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I will second.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll second.
All right, and I'll just say under discussion, it's, the term is July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2026, or until resigned or removed. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We all need to sign this, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's the chair. Guess that's me. Is there just one signature, David?
Yeah. And,
Or do that?
yeah, it's one page way of signing.
You have some other necessary to
Okay,
realize before I forgot.
that's all right. Oh, that's it. No, that's it. No, I think it's just a chair and a co-chair. There's a spot for, and then the rest are underneath.
That's kind of right spot.
Maybe it was just chair. I don't know. I looked
I
at
thought you were-
whatever. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. You had something you want that?
Yeah, a couple of things before I forget. David, I don't know if you've been asked yet, the Memorial Day Parade, usually we use the town's insurance to run the parade. So the chamber again is asking if we're still able to cover the Memorial Day Parade under the town's insurance again this year.
I'll check with them again, just to be sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple other things, even though I missed the chamber meeting, the swans, we're gonna be trying to have the swans back in the park the first of the month.
Oh, that was a question I was gonna ask you.
Yep, so working on that here. Their winter home has worked out extremely well. Herb and the family has just been the kindest people from GDI. I would never expect to imagine everything that they've done, put a house up there. And Herb was able to get Sam the Swan to actually put his head on his shoulders. I
Oh,
mean,
my God.
so I wasn't able to even get to that point
Yeah.
yet, but, and I've taken him a couple of years, so hopefully May 1st, the Swan, the park is almost all set. Dean's been working on it, the guys.
Yeah.
The last thing I got, the Swanton Car Show is slated for this year, July 31st. Adam and I had some conversations earlier on. We were gonna do just a kind of half show, partial show because of COVID. With a lot of things opening up, hopefully July 1st.
The whole thing.
We're gonna try to do a full show with some kind of safety measures in place, so to really start bringing some people back into the community. That's obviously one of the biggest draws.
Yep.
For the community, and the chamber is the biggest fundraiser, so some positives coming here hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah. You say July 31st?
July 31st,
Yeah.
last Saturday in July.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
That's all I
Thank you. Yep. We'll be glad to see the swans back in the park.
Yep.
Public comment.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, you got something wrong?
Yeah. Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, yeah. We were gonna put that on there for boilerplate. I guess we didn't.
Find a way to get that organized and someone who would be in charge so that, you know, you got a lot of stuff going on, recreation, town, you know, library, now you're talking about the rail trail. You can put notices out, you know, we're only posting, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
You keep looking at me, does that mean I'm doing it?
Well, I don't think it should be you, but I mean, I guess, are we gonna do something?
I'm glad you brought it up. I know Seth brought it up that they're working on the communication, but I don't really, I can respect and appreciate everything they're doing. I just don't think that's something to have an official Facebook page for
Yeah.
Swan should call and
Be
say.
an easy run by the town.
It should be us. And if that's something we want to do, I was gonna ask Nicole myself, but you are very savvy in that.
Yeah.
I just think it's a
Savvy.
positive link for the community. And if we're not in favor with it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I just thought it's just a way to really show who we are in a positive light.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
disagreement and discussion's okay, and that's fine.
Well, we're not really gonna be discussing back and forth. I thought the.
No, I'm talking
here-
the other pages.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Just to kind of pull itself away from that and have an official page when you click on Swanton Vermont Facebook.
Yeah.
It's there. And if we don't want it, I'm okay. I just figured we throw it out, but if we were, I know somebody
I don't
that's
have-
really great with a computer, and if I had a twist and turn,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Yeah, well, I do it for the rec, I do it for the chamber, I do it for the arts council, I do it for, I mean, if this is something you folks would like to.
Well, that's one of the things you're talking about, the art council. I mean, that could be posted on that too.
Yeah, any of these links, you can
Yeah.
link that.
All this stuff
It's just
together.
informational
That's it.
Facebook page. There's information. We're not getting into politics.
No, just posting what's going on and, you know, what's available and, you know, like you're talking about that rail, the Memorial Trail and not,
Yeah.
you know, that just to remind everybody that that is, it's not
And
legal to
I
write,
suppose somebody
you
could
know.
take, once we posted an item, somebody could share it to their Facebook page or whatever, and then they can comment on it, if someone wants something on it, go for it, but it's, that way, we at least put the information out there.
But somebody needs to be in charge of it.
Yep.
And it's gonna have to work with all the various groups, you know, coordinate with them.
Yep.
And
I'm
they probably
looking
can
at
put their
Elizabeth over here too,
Well,
so.
and my hand is raised.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see it.
No, that's fine. I'm
No.
more than happy to let Nicole take the lead on it, but I would be happy to support her. You know, because I think, you know, I have stuff going on, she has stuff going on.
I would think, yeah, you in the building too could
Yeah,
be
we
easily.
work together on
I
that.
guess I can work with Elizabeth on that.
I just think
I'd be happy to.
it'd be such a positive for us. I mean, I see these communities around us have it, and some of these, you know,
So
2,000 or
maybe by,
3,000 members.
maybe by the 18th, you guys with it, you could have something ready to say, this is how we're gonna, you know, go about it, and
Yeah.
maybe show us a few pictures possibly.
Yep, and I think some of it, you know, there can be some fun stuff too.
Sure. Yeah.
See people in the park, just
Yeah.
hanging out or whatever, I think.
Yeah, I bet you David over here could share some of his good pictures he takes too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He's got some pretty awesome
You know, the
pictures.
sunsets, the bridges, the walking paths, you know,
Yeah.
even getting with Heather,
That's
she
right.
has a lot of great spotlights on Swan. And let's just be positive, is all I'm
Yeah.
asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think being just an informational page, it'll, you know, will be that positive we want to be, so. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of activities that are going on,
Yeah.
and, you know, as much as I despise it,
Yeah.
most people, at least 80% of the people I know are looking at them drinking things every day.
I'm in the minority with you, believe me.
I know, somebody here doesn't have a cell
I am,
phone,
not a
so.
lot. I don't even own a cell phone, so that limits.
Yeah,
No, but I do agree. It would be a great way for us to information share
Advertise our community.
and correct information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Accurate information.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. All
I'm
right,
happy to
cool.
do that with your
All right.
lessons.
Certainly, thank you guys for entertaining and accepting.
Can you put that on the agenda so it's just a boilerplate, the Facebook, so we can keep an update with it?
Sure.
Facebook page, whatever you want.
Right here, remember
Social
that.
media.
Yeah, social media, well, just put it on there until we get it planned and then we can take it off. Just so we keep up with where we're at with it. Okay, anything else under public comment? Alright. Upcoming events, planning commission meeting Wednesday, April 21st at 6 PM by Zoom. DRB, Development Review Board meeting Thursday, April 22nd by Zoom, 6 PM. Next select board meeting is Tuesday, May 4th, 7 PM by Zoom for the public. Hey, your motion to go into executive session for personnel. Do we have legal or just personnel?
Legal, I don't know if you need personnel, that was,
I have personnel, so, yeah, okay, so personnel legal.
I move that we find that we entered executive session for the select board to receive confidential personnel legal information for which a premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
Okay.
I will second that.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Ayes have it.
I move that based on just made findings that premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage, we enter executive session.
I will second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Now executive session. Entertain a motion to come out of executive session?
I'll move.
Earl?
I second it.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Time should be noted.
Yep, you'll come out of executive session at 9:15. Did I say all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, okay. Opposed, ayes,
Aye.
we're out of executive session.
You guys are in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm ready for bed. Action taken, we already discussed it earlier that we hired Ryan Washburn as a new town employee for the highway department.
All right, and I'll move that we approve the hiring of, first name? Ryan Washburn.
Yep.
As a new employee for the highway department.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion that we adjourn select board meeting at 9:16.
I second it.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Good night, everybody.